If someone had told me in 2023 that I would build a personal brand worth over 20 million naira, employ a team, train over 400 students, learn clients from different parts of the world, all starting with my smartphone, I would have laughed because in 2023, I was just a broke 300 level student who couldn't even afford a 2000 naira course fee. Let me take you back to 2023. I was in 300 level. I was broke. I was struggling. And honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do in my life after graduation. So one day I was scrolling and I came across a flyer for a free graphic design class. I don't even remember where I saw that flyer, but something about it caught my attention and I just decided to join. I joined and I loved it. I got hooked. Like something about design just clicked for me. I mean, how you could take something from nothing and turn it into something beautiful on screen. It was good, but then the free class ended and we were told if you want to continue with the master class you needed to pay 2000 naira. 2000 naira was not a lot of money then, but for me as a broke student, I couldn't afford 2000 naira. Then I went to my brother. I explained that I needed to get this course for 2000 naira and he borrowed me that money. Now, to a lot of people, that money was not a lot of money, but that is the single most important investment that have ever been made in my life. So I paid for the training and I started learning, but along the line I stopped. I stopped for 6 months and it's not because I genuinely wanted to stop, but I didn't know what to do next. I had learned the skill, but nobody had taught me how to actually make money with the skill. So I stopped that skill for 6 good months. This period of my life between late 2023 and early 2024 is what I would call the searching phase. And I think I need to talk about it because I believe a lot of people, a lot of you guys are exactly in that phase right now. I wasn't lazy, but I was searching for a difference. I was trying to figure out my life. I was trying to figure out what I needed to do next. I was looking for different ways that I could actually make money with this skill. And along the line of searching, I stumbled on a training on virtual assistance, customer support, lead generation. I thought, oh, this was going to make sense. And the course fee for that training was actually 25,000 naira. Where would I see 25,000 naira for someone who had to borrow 2,000 naira? So from January 2024 to July 2024, I saved up 18,000 naira for that training. Every month, I would put something aside. You guys, imagine saving 18,000 naira for 6 months. That's like saving 3,000 naira every month just because I wanted to upskill. The cost was actually 25k, but I had to plead with the person that was teaching that course that I don't have 25k. I had saved this 18,000 naira for 6 months. Could you please allow me take this training for 18,000 naira? So I took that training in June 2024. And do you know what happened? After the training, guess what happened? I still went back to design. I just discovered that, oh, design was my thing all along. And this time around, I came back to design, not starting afresh, but I now understood that in order for me to win, I had to build a strategy on how I was going to monetize that particular skill. While I was taking that training, because I was learning virtual assistance, it's a skill that required you having a laptop, and I didn't have a laptop. And also, I was taking that training when I was doing my industrial training from June till November. So I would go for my industrial training in the morning. And then when I come back at night, I'll try to practice that skill. But at some point, I got stuck because I didn't have a laptop. So I had to start asking people, oh, do you have any laptop you are not using? Could you please borrow me this laptop? And then luckily, one of my friend borrowed me a laptop, but there was a catch. That laptop could not work without electricity. Like if you don't plug it to light, it was not going to work. So I always prayed that, oh, there would be lights. And NEPA, there was literally no light, so I had to look for another solution. I would go to the school library because there was constant electricity there, and I would go there and I would practice. So on the days that I would not go for my IT, if I was going to my IT Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then on Tuesdays and Thursdays I was going to go to the library just so I could practice, just so I could learn. So when someone tells me that, oh, they don't have what to start, they don't know where to start, and I think about that laptop that wouldn't work without light, I think about having to go to the library. I think about having to save 18,000 naira for 6 months. And I literally say to myself, if I could do all of this, then I don't think anybody has any excuse as to why they cannot start. In October of 2024, things got really, really bad for me. It was more like to even see a meal to eat every day became like a problem. So I told myself that in October 2024, It's either I was going to get a job or I was going to die. There were no two ways about it. I needed to get a job. So I have learned about code pitching. I have heard about it, but I haven't really tried it before. So I went to ChatGPT. I asked it to give me directions on how I can code pitch and get my first client because I needed to get my first client. So after going through everything that ChatGPT gave me, I started code pitching. I would research founders, I'd research people who needed my skills on LinkedIn. And then after researching them, I started sending them messages. And I'll be honest with you, I got like a lot of negative responses. You know, when you're trying to figure out everything on your own, but I didn't stop because I needed a job. I desperately needed a job. So I could pitch, I sent pitches, I sent messages, I sent follow ups. Some will tell me they are not financially able to pay for my services. Some will ghost me, no reply. But then one person replied me, and here is how I actually got that job. I told this person, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this design for you for free. If you like it, you can employ me. If you don't like it, there is no problem. So I went ahead, created three free design samples. The person loved it, and you guys, that was how I got my first 50,000 naira full time job. Moving from someone who borrowed 2,000 naira to getting my first 50K clients, it felt like such a huge win for me. I kept building, I kept showing up, and in February 2025, a US client reached out to me saying that they need my services. And you guys, that was when I was able to make my first dollar. And I just sat for a moment and told myself, you literally had to borrow money to learn the skill, and now you are sitting in your house and someone reached out to you asking for your services. And when I saw the dollar in my account, I I cried, and after crying, I then realized that this my skill could open lots of doors of opportunities for me, because if someone could see my work, message me, I deliver the job, and then I get paid, then I knew that I could actually make real money with the skill. And this is something that I'm going to tell any beginner out there: show up, build your personal brand. I didn't have to go look for the clients, but they had been following me, they had been seeing my content, and they reached out themselves. Building a personal brand is like one of the best decisions you would make for yourself in 2026. In March 2025, that was when everything literally blew up. I got a job from a referral, and that job went on to become my first full-time job with a company outside of Nigeria. I work with a LinkedIn marketing agency. I create LinkedIn designs for founders, and that job has gone on to make me over $10,000 between 2025 and 2026. And sometimes I sit and ask myself, Catherine, what if your brother hadn't borrowed you that money? Catherine, what if you didn't save 18,000 naira for 6 months? Catherine, what if you didn't start building your personal brand? Catherine, what if you are just giving up because you weren't seeing results as at when you learned that skill? In January 2026, I decided that I was going to start building my personal brand because I believe that there was a lot of opportunities out there that I haven't even tapped into. So I went to Facebook, I started sharing my story, my journey, teaching what I knew, and before I knew it, my personal brand blew up. I started getting a lot of people following me, resonating with my story, and I started getting DMs from people. What do you do? Can you teach me? Can you teach me this skill? I want to make money online just like you. And it wasn't one, it wasn't even 100, it was a lot of DMs. January 2026, 31st of January to be precise, I launched the Skill to Income Academy. The Skill to Income Academy is an academy that teaches young people how they can actually make money with their smartphone without leaving their house. We teach skills including social media management, virtual assistants, AI video editing, graphic design, and content writing. We took over 400 students in cohort 1, which started in January. We trained them in these skills, and they went on to get jobs. They went on to get clients. And every time a student sends me a message saying, Catherine, I got a job, I think about the 2,000 naira that I borrowed. I think about the laptop that I had to borrow. I think about the days that I had to go to the library. And I always say to myself, if this could happen for me, it could happen to anybody. You can go on to change your life with just what you have. I'm not making this video to impress you, but I'm making this video to encourage somebody out there who is probably where I was 3 years ago and is thinking that, oh, I can't make money. He's thinking that, oh, my life is stuck. He's thinking that, oh, what am I going to do next with my life? He's confused. I just want to tell you that if I could go from that broke 300 level student who borrowed 2,000 naira, who saved 18,000 naira for 6 months, who had to borrow a laptop, who had to juggle between going to IT training and then still staying up at night learning a skill, then there is nothing that is impossible. I didn't have too much resources. All I had was just my smartphone. I had data and I had that decision. I knew it within me that this was going to work. I knew it within me that I couldn't stay here for long. And you also have something that I didn't have when I started. You have this video. You have this video to push you, to guide you, to give you all of the motivation that you need to know that your life can actually change if only you take action. So this is what I want you to do. Subscribe to this channel because I want to teach you every single thing that I know. Every single thing that has made me build a personal brand of over 20 million naira plus. I am going to teach you the skills that you need to learn, how to build a personal brand, how to make money with only your smartphone. If that sounds like you, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Share this video to anybody you think that is stuck and actually need a word of encouragement. And I'm going to see you in my next video.